What's going on? What's going on? Welcome back to the channel One Man's Walk. I am your host Gamal, back at you with another one. So what we have for you today, that new Nas album, Magic. Let's get it right after this intro.
One man's walk, 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 one man's walk. Yeah.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. As the title stated, we're going to get into this Nas project, Magic, which I had absolutely no idea was dropping. I don't know if you guys were aware of it. If you were, throw it in the comments and let me know were you guys aware of it. I was absolutely taken by surprise when I went on Apple Music and saw that Nas had dropped a new project. I was like, what? At first, when I saw the cover and everything, I thought maybe it was some compilation or something that somebody else put together that Apple Music was just throwing on there. I had no idea. And then I read the description. I was like, oh crap, this is a legitimate Nas album. I'm not even gonna hold you as far as that's concerned. The CD is amazing, right? Let's just get that out the way. The CD is amazing. Might be my personal favorite CD that's dropped this year. Yes, there's been some other projects I liked. I like the Cole CD that came out early this year. I'm drawing a blank on different things. I did like the Donda CD. I did do that. There's a review of that you guys can check out as well. I did like the AZ project that came out this year. There's also a review of that. You guys can check that out as well. Make sure you guys are liking, commenting, subscribing, turning on your post bell notifications. It is extremely helpful to the channel. I really appreciate everyone who has been in the comment section, keeping it live. We interact all the time. I believe in interacting. I like your thought processes. I hope you enjoy mine. And let's just keep it going. But anyway, getting into this project, which I am super excited to dive into. You know I don't like to do it without showing you guys the props so you guys know it's real. I brought these out. If you watch the Jay-Z video that I just did, it's posted, it's up there, where we talk about Jay-Z doing the verses and who could he battle. Obviously, I know I had to mention Nas. But I've said this many times before. This is not a favorite of mine. I do think it's a good CD, but I don't rate it the way everyone rates Illmatic, right? Like, I personally think I feel like Illmatic is like a bunch of like raps. It's a bunch of raps. It's not a cohesive album per se with like a theme or anything. It's just a bunch of showing that he's just an amazing rapper with some really great songs in there. But this, and I told people before, don't at me. This is my all-time favorite Nas CD. It was written, it's just absolutely amazing, front to back. There is only one record on there that I wish was not on there, and that is the Nas Is Coming. You take Nas Is Coming off, you can keep Silent Murder, which was only on a cassette tape and not the CD for some strange reason. I don't know. But if you guys want me to deep dive on something like this, it was written. I know I just did it with The Bone. You guys can check that video out. But if you guys want me to deep dive on some of these older records that I consider classics or clean your house music, by all means, let me know. We can get into that. I just like you to see the props so you know it's real when I talk about these artists that I love. Speechless. So let's get right into it.
I'm 21 years past the 27 club. It's like I went back into my past and then I spent it up.
So that little part that you hear at in the beat real fast, I just want to say this.
I'm 21 years past the 27 club. It's like I went back into my past and then
I don't know how many of you guys are familiar with the Nas I Am bootleg CD. I have that as well. But the intro to that, and I don't know if he's ever released it, so maybe you might not be familiar. But I think people who are on my channel are familiar with this type of stuff. So I'm going to go with the you are familiar. But that intro where he's talking about being a fetus and then growing and then coming out of his mother's womb, it kind of gives that feel to me when I hear this intro. It's not a bad intro. It's a pretty good intro, but it's not one of Nas's best intros. Now, you guys know the intro matters to me. The intro sets the tone for the CD. It gives us an indication of what we should expect. Now, when I think of some of Nas's best intros, the Get Down from the Godson CD, probably my favorite Nas intro, the King's Disease intro on the King's Disease 1, another one. Those are probably my two favorite, or let me say three. And I'm gonna add in the Stillmatic intro. So the Stillmatic, am I missing one? No Bad Energy, my bad. So those are my four favorite Nas intros. So that lets you know what I feel when I think of the Nas intros. No Bad Energy, which was the Swiss beat. The Stillmatic, which is the Hangman, Benzino fame, Made Men. The King's Disease, which is Hit Boy. And then Get Down, which I cannot think off the top of my head who made that one. So those are my 4 favorite intros. And then some of the ones that I thought were cool, but they're not like my all-time favorite Nas intros. And so I kind of put this Speechless in there. I do like how the beat switches, but I also like when we go back to that one line again.
21 years past the 27 club. It's like I went back into my past and then I sped it up.
I love that. I'm 21 years past the 27 club. It's like I went back in my past and then I sped it up. I feel like Nas is on a second run, almost like that song on the Stillmatic CD, My Second Childhood, but the opposite of what that concept was about. But as far as him just finding the fountain of youth with Hit Boy, like it started again with this Lost Tapes 2 and the energy it brought. No pun intended, and No Bad Energy is my favorite record on there. But what he first gave us with Swiss on Echo, and then what he gave us on Lost Tapes 2 with the different artists, the Pete Rocks, the RZA, Swiss, Alchemist is on there. But that is a favorite of mine as far as what he was able to bring. And then what he's been doing with Hit Boy has just been nuts. Like that energy, the chemistry that they have together. When you find a person who you can just have amazing chemistry with, there's nothing like it. It's hard to replace when you can have somebody who can give you just amazing chemistry. And so I just want to play it up a little bit too, because I like when the beat switches.
Dope dealers, street hustlers, pop cases, throw dice, on pavement, cop chases, big gamblers, scullies, high faces, gang wars, hot spots, police raided.
Left him speechless. I like it. It's a good intro. So I heard it and I was like, okay, Nas, okay. Kind of gave me vibes of the I Am bootleg. And I'm like, okay, all right, let's see where we go from here. The next record, Meet Joe Black, I like it. It's cool. I wouldn't skip it, but I wouldn't rush to play it either. Like there's certain records that we'll get to in the CD that I jump to automatically. Now, obviously, I've been playing the CD straight through because I just think it is a Clean Your House Music CD. Clean Your House Music meaning to me what I consider classic music, something you can put in the bedroom, start cleaning your house to, go in the bathroom. You can go to the kitchen, just keep turning up the music, your home pods and hooking it up. That's what I feel when I think of this CD. I think it's really good, and that's why I label it Clean Your House Music. I'll give you a little bit of it. Isn't that the truth? Making hits with Hit Boy, all he got to do is hit record. Because their pocket right now is nuts. But I'm going to skip it in a moment. And in this right here, I really, 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 really love this beat. This Ugly.
It's ugly outside, it's muggy, it's money outside. 105 Fahrenheit, thunderous skies. The cloud shape a clown face above where you reside. Under his eye, teardrop got the ugliest cry. They call my city Gotham City.
I'm going to bring it up some because I want to get to a specific part.
It's ugly how Mercedes more lost her life to a stalker. I'm on office every day until I see the love. KD3 on the way, this is to feed the buzz. It's ugly, it's ugly.
I like that. I didn't know who Mercedes Moore was, so I actually had to look her up. And then I found out that she was unfortunately found dead in her apartment in Richmond. And she's a Fashion Nova model. And she's also on IG and extremely popular on IG. I'm not on Instagram, but it looks to be a murder-suicide, which is really tragic. And so when he said her name, because I wasn't familiar, I did look her up to see who she was. And that's just extremely sad. That sucks. When he says KD3 on the way, that's just to feed the buzz, he's obviously referencing King's Disease 3, which is, I assume, coming to us in 2022. But this is just to hold us over until then. This was a great Christmas gift to us that Nas gave us. I'm not even in the front. And so I really do like this Ugly record right here. And then he actually mentions, so he mentions the Mercedes, the young lady, and then he mentions Dolph as well. Marvin Gaye to Young Dolph, we taking out our brothers. I remember, and now I noticed that, and I'm not familiar with the guy, but Draco, the ruler, I saw that he was murdered recently as well. And it's just sad how many of us we are taking out. Instead of celebrating one another I don't get insecure because somebody else is great at what they do, or I don't see anybody that I dislike so much that I want to see bodily harm come to them. I may not like you. I may not want to talk with you. I may not rock with you. You may not rock with me. You may not like me. You may not want to talk to me. Cool. Let me know where we stand. We can move as is. But to be able to just want to hurt somebody or take somebody away from loved ones, family, whatever, I just think it's crazy. And so I don't have that mentality. I don't have that mindset. And I like how Nas is on that in talking and bringing reference to things like that. So I just want to pinpoint that real fast before we move on. Side note. But anyway, so this 4016 building feels like Thief's theme. Now, I'm not calling it Thief's theme, but it has that feel to it and that energy. This feels like old Nas. Like, this feels like old Nas. I love this one. That flow, that's Thief's theme. I love it. And then when he hit that, I'm in the studio lately. I love that. I'm in the studio lately. But yeah, that's a fire record. That's a fire record right there. But this Hollywood Gangster, I like this. I love this. All right. I love that. I love everything about this right here. White linen party for whenever we make $1 million. Nas think he too good to pull up on us. See me at a baby shower with some OGs from Corona, Queens. Sipping liquor, taking photos, and I slid with a cougar. Could have pulled a young love, but I took who was cuter. Shout out to that. Esco relaxed in the hood. I ain't come with a shooter. They asked me what I'm doing. They said I was already proven. Like, what are you doing out here in Corona, Queens? Why are you in the hood, pulled up, taking pictures like you just showed up at a baby shower that no one thought or expected you to be at? It'd be different if it was like a shower that we were expecting to see Nas at. It'd be just like you throwing a baby shower, Nas hears about it. Maybe he might know somebody, maybe he doesn't. Maybe he just sees it as he's driving by. Baby showers outside or whatever, and he's like, let me just pull up. Or you have a cookout or something, and Nas just pulls up at your cookout. You know what I mean? Like, I've seen pictures or videos where people have done that. I know my wife was in, I forgot where she was at, but she ended up being in some, I believe it was a club, babe. If I'm saying it wrong, I apologize. But she was out with her friends, and Ja ended up being there at the event. And it was a shower, a wedding shower, baby shower, I don't know, some type of shower. But the girls were celebrating, or maybe it was a bachelorette party, whatever. But anyway, Ja shows up, and he happens to be there, sees what they have going on, comes over, talks with them, takes pictures and everything like that. Like, that's the equivalent of what he did. But it just so happened, like, while they were at a different location, he was in the hood. And being able to just pop up in the hood like that was pretty cool. But then people are like, yo, what are you doing here? And he was like, nah, I'm still good. And the fact he said, I didn't come with a shooter. I didn't come because I was tense. I didn't come thinking like I wouldn't be safe or I wouldn't be good. I just pulled up and I came relaxed. And I love everything about it. Now, obviously, when we see situations like what happened in Nipsey and what happened like Freaky Ty, Big L, Soldier Slim, like all these people who passed essentially in their neighborhoods, in the communities in which they're from, that sucks. To think that you cannot actually go back for fear of your life. Now, that's the other flip side to what he said. You might need to bring security or somebody with you just to ensure your safety, because everyone may not have great intentions. But this is the good side of when you can want to go back to communities, go back to neighborhoods, and just be a regular individual, not Nas, but Nasir. And be able to just go around, Nasir from Queens, and be able to go around and just enjoy people without worrying or fearing for your life. This right here is my record. This Woo for the Children is my record.
I don't work this hard to be around people I don't like.
Facts. I don't work this hard to be around people I don't like.
The Nas enthusiasts thinking they know what's best for me more than I know what's best for me. No rest for me.
This right here I love. The Nas enthusiasts thinking they know what's best for me more than I know what's best for me. No rest for me. So he says that line and then follows it with the
Special like my classics, special like my listeners who have attachments to my old style, won't let me pass it. Special. Yeah.
he understands it. He understands us. Essentially. The Nas enthusiasts thinking they know what's best for me more than I know what's best for me. No rest for me. Right? Like, he's speaking to all of us, saying we know what's best for Nas. We know what beats he should be rapping on. We know what topics he should be rapping about. We know what his album should be about. We have this mental block or this mental cube that we've put Nas in and said this is who we appreciate Nas. Whether it's because he made Illmatic, right? And you just want him to stay in this Illmatic lane. He made It Was Written. You want him to stay in this It Was Written lane. He did Stillmatic, and he's talking back against haters, and he's going at the other greats like Jay or whatever the case may be. Or this is Angry Nas. Or we get into Get Down, and we get the Made You Look and the Hard Nas. Like, and we keep saying, man, that's the Nas I always want to hear. And he was like, look, I've experimented with different things. I've tried different things. Why are you trying to pigeonhole me into just being this? My listeners, and he understood it. He said they're enthusiasts. Nas enthusiasts, thinking they know what's best for me more than I know what's best for me. No rest for me. Meaning it can be stressful, right? And so, but I love it. I love it. I love his self-awareness of us, right? And I include myself in the us, you know. But I love Nas, man. Right here, I love this. We're going to deep dive real fast into this last little part.
Ducking the flashes from the cameras, leave out the back. Jump in the spacecraft, we can't tell where we at. Chauffeur driving like a high-speed chase, trunk full of smack. Tallest building in Manhattan, sipping on Manhattans, listen to the Manhattans.
That part right there is super hilarious. He said, ducking the flashes from the camera, leaving out the back, jumping the spacecraft, we can't tell where we at. Chauffeur driving like a high-speed chase, trunk full of smack. So, like, I pictured it like a red carpet, or not even a red carpet, but pictured it like paparazzi just show where he's at, and he's trying to escape, and they are where he's at, and they're trying to rush him, and he's being rushed away. And between the flashing lights, and between just hurry up and trying to get in the car and speed off, they're a little disoriented with knowing where are they in the moment. But my man said the chauffeur driving like a high-speed chase, trunk full of smack. Man said the driver is speeding away from the cameras and the flashing lights as if it was police lights behind them, and they had a trunk full of heroin in it. That's crazy. I mean, like just the visuals of how Nas put stuff together, it's nuts, right? But let's bring it up.
Queens of Brooklyn, or would
Shout out
have
to
feeling
Brooklyn.
I should have had Grammys with no dirty. Said Woo for the Children, should have did that remix verse on Gimme the Loot for Biggie. Me, Jay, and Frank White is like Cole, Drizzy, and Kenny.
Hold on. We don't want to skip over that. Should have did the remix verse on Gimme the Loot for Biggie. There was a remix that we could have had 1994 Illmatic Nas with those lyrics on a Gimme the Loot the same way. Could you imagine that? Because we got Big and Meth on the What, which is an all-timer. We could have had a Biggie Nas on Gimme the Loot, the remix, where Nas is fresh off a New York State of Mind. Represent. It ain't hard to tell that not. Come on, man. What is Nas doing? Sometimes the behind the scenes is stuff that never ever happened, but was in the works. It's just so amazing to hear those type of stories. That's crazy. But then he says something, and again, I referenced it on the Jay-Z versus talk that I did, videos up. Me, Jay, and Frank is like Cole, Drizzy, and Kenny. I love that. So him, I like the order too, because he says me, Jay, and Frank White. Frank White obviously is big. Cole, Drizzy, Drake, Kendrick. him and Cole, which makes sense. Cole has a record on his CD where he calls Nas one of the greats, paying homage to him. And then Nas jumped on the remix to that. I can't think of what the name of the records off my head. He says Jay and Drizzy, which I find it very interesting that the order, again, Jay and Drake, because again, if you watch that Versus video, I do a nice comparison to that. And then Frank White and Kenny, Big and Kendrick. And so I like that too, because I think with Big had 2 albums, but the impact was tremendous. Kendrick has 3 albums. Obviously, I'm not counting Section 80. I'm not counting the older stuff. I'm literally counting from when he was Kendrick Lamar to the world to where he is now. It's been 3 albums. I want to say it's 3 albums. Not counting the Black Panther soundtrack either. So I like that. But this is that Woo for the Children has gotten so much spin. I absolutely love that. And then this right here is the other one that I just cannot get past. This Wave God. Primo cuts. I've been waiting for Nas and Primo again. I thought he should have been on Lost Tapes too. Why Raekwon be sounding so good on the record sometimes though, man? Like his voice was made for rap, right? It's crazy. But the Wave God. So a couple things that I just want to say that stood out to me in this. One, the hook. Love Gangster. This Rocky. Now, I do want to say this. One, I had to play it a bunch of times. I don't listen to enough ASAP Rocky to really know his voice, but that to me sounded like Lupe. 1, Lupe Fiasco. 2, it sounded like Lupe's flow, delivery, and cadence. When you go back and you listen to Hip Hop Saved My Life, or you listen to my personal favorite Lupe CD, which I think is an all-time great CD, Food and Liquor 2, The Great American Story. An all-time great CD to me. I have it in my top 64 greatest rap albums ever. You guys stick around. I do plan on doing that March Madness style, 64 greatest rap albums ever. Leave your comments if you're excited for that. It sounds like, Rocky sounds like Lupe on here to me. And again, I don't know Rocky well enough. I don't listen to his music well enough to know what does he normally sound like. But to me, that felt like Lupe all the way. It sounded like Lupe. I had to play it back to make sure. Did they mess up the credits and put Rocky on there and it should have been Lupe? Like, it sounded like him. But I absolutely love it. I love this record right here. I played this so much. I love that. One, I don't believe in smoking and stuff like that. It's not my thing. But I like how he said that he rolls his own blunts to make sure it's not laced. Because, again, self-awareness, everyone may not be in your corner who is showing up with you. And being able to know, look, I need to be mindful of me and what's going into my body. Now, I don't think the smoker should be going in there. But to make sure that if I'm smoking weed, it's just weed. It's not weed laced with something else. I've had friends that have OD'd because they got hooked on weed with PCP, dipping them in PCP, or someone sprinkled coke in their weed and they got hooked and then they overdosed. And so it's a real thing. I know people who have OD'd from that type of stuff, and it sucks. And so hearing that, while I still don't condone the smoking, I do like the consciousness of making sure I can't just trust anybody to be rolling weed for me because I don't know what they can put in it. So I do like that. His flow is so nuts. Shorty is a piece about a dime piece. I might buy you a piece of property. You might have had some This is so nuts a record. This might be my favorite over Woo for the Children. Tell hit we gotta hit. Hey. That's nuts, man. That record is so nice. We only got 2 records left. I don't even know if I need to deep dive anymore. This CD is so good, so good, so good. Nas feels so refreshed. Sound like young Nas. I love that. When I'm gone, I pray my family don't get the cash and burn it to the floor. A realization that everyone may not appreciate or value what you valued. Not saying he valued money, but the work that went into making sure that not just him, but his children's children could have wealth is what he built. And him saying, I hope they don't get it when I'm gone and burn it to the ground. Meaning that all my hard work to set up my family is not all for naught. And I love that because that goes back. He started talking like that, I want to say, on Peer Pressure on Lost Tapes 2, if you go back and listen to that second or third verse. But that mindset that Nas is in, as far as thinking not just with himself, but thinking of others, and then ensuring that, look, man, what I worked hard for, yes, I want you to enjoy the fruits of it, but don't squander it all away. You know what I mean? Like, appreciate it, spend some of it, but this is to set you up and to set up your kids. And I just love that. I thought that was really spot on. And then this last record, Dedicated, right here, I don't always play all the records on a CD, but I really did love this. And this is really short, so it made it a lot easier.
But if God save me, maybe I'll embrace any vice that could potentially bring harm to me. Before I make a move, I think about it karmically. Everything come back like a boomerang. I'm black as Paul Mooney slang.
I like that. Before I make a move, I think about it karmically. Like, what are the effects? What are the cause and effect, right? Everything comes back like a boomerang. I'm black as Paul Mooney slang. That's Paul Mooney, the comedian. Pretty funny guy. He said, if God saves me, maybe I'll erase any vice that could potentially bring harm to me. I like that. Realizing what the Lord has done and then trying to say, let me course correct some of these things. Like, I love that.
Confronted with how the hood could use more funding, more budgets for more teachers, financial literacy, more speeches. Chefs come cook for me, look what it took for me. The streets had its hooks in me. Yeah, people ask me what books to read. Destruction of black civilization, that's history.
I love this. Now, he deep dives a little bit more, but he said, confronted with how the hood can use more funding, more budgets for more teachers, financial literacy, more speeches. All of that is so key. Some of the things that I've learned, I didn't learn from my family, and that's no disrespect to my family. I think my family have done an extremely great job with me, and I love them. But some things, like with credit cards and learning how to really build credit and stuff like that. And my parents did teach me stuff like that. Let me not say not, but I probably was not fully listening. And sometimes it's not who says it, but when it's said and what space you're in to be able to appreciate what's being said. I feel like it was more than one of those things. But my old boss, this young white girl, would sit me down and like put me on to stuff from her perspective as far as how life is, and her life is completely different, and being able to say, this is how you can build wealth, this is how you can build credit, this is how you start gaining equity, things like that. And she would show me all these things. I'd be like, man, stuff people just don't know. And so I actually share that. I was at a wedding in Charlotte with Kristen recently, and the valet guy at the hotel, you know what I mean, like, he stopped, chopped it up for a second, and we got into this whole talk about that. And I was going over stuff about building up your credit, things like that. And it was really great to be able to share that, because he looked like me, but a young guy. And I'm like, that's what we need to do. So when he's like, look, confronted with the hood and how can you use more funding, like, that's his own thought process of thinking, what can we do, right? More budgets, more teachers, financial literacy. That's key. Financial literacy. Because it's not enough to say I have money. It's how do we build wealth? How do we change the trajectory of how Black people have been and start to get some of the stuff that some of the other races have, right? I'm not mad at the other races for having it, but we need to be able to jump on some of these things too. That's why I believe in supporting Black businesses. Now, I support a ton of businesses overall if it's a good business, but I definitely support people who look like me at least once, because I want to see you succeed. I want to see your business grow. I want to see you be able to do more and provide for your family. So I believe in that, right? So we said, chefs come cook for me. Look what it took for me. The streets had its hooks in me. Yeah, people ask me what books to read. Destruction of Black civilization as history. And then he says that I didn't play it, but he says, Journal of Chris Columbus. That's what interests me. Juneteenth holiday finally came and it pisses me off for the fact that we came and changed. You'll be physically in pain, dedicated like Ricky Waters, Doogie, and Dana Dane. I dedicated my life. So I will go ahead and just play the rest so you guys can just hear it, because it's a really good, what he's talking about, telling you, hey man, these are some stuff you need to read to learn more about yourself and how can you build wealth, which is what Nas has done a really great job of.
Yeah, people ask me what books to read. Destruction of Black civilization as history. Journal of Chris Columbus, that is what interests me. Juneteenth holiday finally came and it pisses me off for the fact that we came and changed. You'll be physically in pain, dedicated like Ricky Walters done me. I dedicated my life, my life. I dedicated my life, my life.
So that's it. It's 9 songs and they're absolutely amazing. I hope you enjoyed the review, but don't forget, hit the like button, hit the comment button, subscribe, turn on your bell notifications so you can keep in contact with all this content that we have coming. As always, I hope you guys have a wonderful, blessed, productive, stress-free day, weekday, weekend, whenever you're listening, however you're listening. I thank you for listening. Till next time.